Hi, I'm Fifi, and this is Going Deeper with the Lord. It is Friday, and on Fridays, I just share nuggets or just little things that I've learned through listening to sermons that have really stuck in my mind, or maybe even influenced me to understand things in a deeper way. And so today is one of those days where I'm sharing something that I had from a sermon that really got stuck with me. And the purpose of me sharing these things are just even to the same way that it has blessed me, the same way that those things have blessed me. I'm just hoping that they'll be able to bless somebody else out there and help them understand things in a deeper way or in a way that they'll be able to retain it in their minds. That's the word that I was looking for. So today we are talking about the surrendered life and what is a surrendered life. So I have to share that I used to be born again in the 90s. For 8 whole years, I was born again, going to a Pentecostal church, and I was not living in sin. I all that I did was go to work, go to church, come home, and I was celibate. Because back then it was a Pentecostal church, so I think they were just pushing us into heaven, so that we were scared of even going to hell. I was born again because I didn't want to go to hell, and that kind of doctrine where you are just told to do this, do this. If you do this, you're going to hell. If you sneeze, you're going to hell. If you fornicate, you're going to hell. You end up not knowing Christ for yourself, and you end up like just doing things because you want to go to heaven. So that kind of doctrine doesn't sustain us. It doesn't sustain us when you are all alone or working at a place where like there is no, you don't have access to believers, because back then we didn't have the kind of access that we have to the gospel through technology. So now, just looking at my life, the life that I live now and the life that I lived then, I feel like I was surrendered back then. I was surrendered, but surrendered in the wrong way. Surrendered to following Christ, but in the wrong way, because I wanted to go to heaven and I didn't want to go to hell. But what does living a surrendered life mean? Surrendered life is just like abandoning yourself at the feet of Jesus to say, here's my life, you do with it as you will. So Bishop Noel Jones has this analogy that he likes talking about, and I feel like it really explains a surrendered life beautifully. He likes saying that if a chicken is being asked to provide eggs for breakfast, all that it will do, it will lay an egg, or it will lay eggs, and the eggs will be the eggs will be used to make breakfast, and the chicken will go about its business. But if a hog or if a pig is asked to provide bacon for breakfast, a pig will have to die. It will have to die at the hands of the farmer, and for the bacon to be processed. So a chicken lays the egg, it goes about its business and eggs for breakfast, but a hog or a pig will have to lose its life to in order for the bacon to be produced. And that is such a beautiful analogy for the surrendered life, because excuse me, Lord, because a, a, a pig has to lose its life. It cannot produce the bacon and still be alive. It just abandons itself at the hands of the farmer, and then the farmer does whatever that he needs to do with his life in order to produce bacon. And that is the surrendered life. Our living a surrendered life means that we give the Lord our lives to say, do with it as you will. And then we allow God to totally transform us in a way that we look totally different, we act different, we think different, we operate differently from the original version of ourselves before, or when we first came to the Lord. So I feel like sometimes we say that we are living surrendered lives, but we give God parts of our lives, and then we still control some parts of our lives. You give your life to Christ, you go to church, you have routines with Christ, but you still do run your life, you run your relationships according to your own way. When you want a job, God is not involved. When you want to marry, God is not involved. There are parts of your life that you run, and then there are some other parts where you depend on God. But no, a surrendered life, you don't pick and choose what part you give to the Lord. He is involved in every part of your life. Because when we give our lives to Christ, we are allowing him to do as he will with our lives, to accomplish his plans and purposes through our lives on earth. So if God is using our lives to accomplish his plans, we cannot say, okay, this part of our life, we still need it to control it, or this part of our life, because how would we know what God did and what he didn't do? How would people tell of our testimony if parts of our lives we were still in control and parts of our lives we were not in control? How would they know where God started and where he ended, or where we started or where we ended? So living a surrendered life means that we lose total control of our lives into the hands of the Lord. Like, we are living for the Lord. He is the decision maker. If I need to change jobs, if I need to move cities, if you invite me to your wedding in Cuba, I will have to consult with the Lord. Lord, is this where you want me to be at this time of my life? Or maybe you want me to be. I'll give you an example. There was a time in 2023, I really, really wanted to go to, I think it was September 2023. I really wanted to go to the Woman Evolve conference. And I had been asking the Lord months in advance, saying, Lord, I want to go to the conference. Lord, I want you to provide for me because I want to go to the conference. And the Lord said no. The Lord didn't answer that prayer. And it was there were other prayers that I had prayed and the Lord hadn't answered them. And I was weeping, and I had like my grievances written against the Lord, saying, you didn't answer this prayer, you didn't answer this prayer, you didn't answer this prayer. And for the Woman Evolve conference, because I wanted to be there on that Sunday at the Potter's house, it was full, and it was mostly people that were attending the conference on the weekend. And I was just looking at all these people in church, thinking that I could be there, I could be one of them if you had allowed me to go to the conference. And the Lord said in my spirit, clearly in my spirit, saying that all these people that went to the conference are looking for the things that you already have. Like, they are looking for the Holy Spirit in their lives to guide them, to empower them, to enrich them, to encourage them. And the Lord said, the same thing that I did at that conference is the same thing that I can do where you are. You don't have to get on a plane for me to encourage you. I can encourage you right where you are. I can encourage you without the crowds. So that is why I'm saying that we depend on the Lord. You don't, just because you have the money, you don't just hop on the plane for everything and every activity, every event that you want to attend. You want to check with the Lord, because God is always working in our lives. So you want to check with the Lord, is this what you want me to do? Is this partnership, is it this something that you want for me? Is this something that you want me to do? Is this job, do you want me to take this job, or you have other plans? So living a surrendered life means that we are totally depending on the Lord. Even the way we date, or the people that we meet, I see many people, like, even in single circles, people saying, oh, where do we meet singles? How do we meet people nowadays? And I'm thinking, like, if we're living for the Lord, if God has our lives in his hands, why can't we trust him with the most important thing? Like getting married is one of the most important life-changing events. And when we marry, everything that we do for the glory of the Lord. So I cannot go and pick my own spouse out there without involving the Lord, without praying and saying, God lead me, God guide me. The Holy Spirit lives inside of me. He has that power, he has that ability for him to whisper to me, say, oh, he is the one. And I say, him, Lord? Yeah, 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 him, he is the one. But wait until I tell you to go and pursue, or whatever. So That is living the surrendered life. We consult the Lord with everything that involves our well being, our spiritual growth, our physical lives, our financial lives, and the totality of our lives. We are surrendered to the Lord. When we wake up each morning before we touch our phones, we connect with Him because we live for Him. He is Lord over our lives, He is our Master. We are His servants. Brothers and sisters, surrendering our lives to Christ. And I wanted to share that analogy that I learned from Bishop Noel Jones, where he was talking about the hog and the chicken. That the chicken lays its egg for breakfast and it goes about its business and goes about living its life. But a hog or a pig, when we need bacon from the pig, it dies. And it abandons itself into the hands of the farmer, and the farmer does whatever he wants to do with it to produce bacon. That's what we do as believers. When we live surrendered lives, we die to self. We die at the hands of at the feet of Jesus to say, Lord, I want to die to my old self. I want to die to my old lifestyle. I want to die to my old self sufficiency, self dependency, self everything. And I want to depend on you. Brothers and sisters, God bless you as you go and surrender your lives to Christ. Thank you very much for stopping by, and God bless you. I'll see you in the next video.